going to invite everyone to stand up because we're gonna sing our opening tune.
I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the beautiful love light of the one. I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening. I am opening. I'm opening. I'm opening. I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm
Marks in the air.
opening. I am opening. I'm opening. I'm opening.
All right, everyone, say hello to your neighbor for tonight.
I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one.
Here we go.
I'm opening sweet surrender the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening up in sweet surrender
I am
love light
Switch.
of the one.
I am opening up
opening.
surrender.
I'm
Opening up in sweet surrender.
I'm
Love light of the one.
I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the
Ooh, what a way to start Elevate. Thank you, gentlemen. The Elevate trio here. Pablo Cardenas on piano, Peter Dowse on electric bass, and Kelby MacNayr on vocals and drums. And the VTC Community Choir in the seats, right? Give yourselves a hand. Woo! Right on. All right, so welcome to Elevate. Before we go on any further, may I ask, is there anyone here for the first time tonight? 1, 2. All right. So Allison over here and Jennifer over here. Welcome. Can we please let these gals know how delighted we are that they're here with us? We love you. We appreciate you. We're so glad you're here. Let's give them another hand. Thank you for joining us tonight. All right. So I'm actually going to change mics. There we go. Is that working? Oh, that is better. All right, so welcome to another Elevate Wednesday at the Victoria Truth Center. We basically come together to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to remember that there is only one thing going on. Some people call it love, some people call it creativity, some people call it energy, source, universe, the quantum field. Some people call it God. Whatever it is that you call it, it really doesn't matter. It's not so much about the word as it is about the thing. And so when we come together, we are coming together to remind ourselves that that is who and what we are. And if that is who and what we are, then that means if there's only one thing going on, everyone else is that too. And not just a little and not just sometimes, but all of it, all the time. And so we are the ones who get to decide how much of that love, how much of that creativity, how much of that infinitude that we are at our core, how much of that do we want to experience from one moment to the next, to the next, to the next. So we come together to talk, we come together to listen, we come together to connect more deeply and authentically. And so this is what we're doing right here, right now through Elevate. We are expanding our minds, we're opening our hearts, and we're activating our souls so that we can live more joyfully, meaningfully, prosperously, engagingly, have just a more fantastical life experience every moment of every day. So how does that sound to everyone on an Elevate Wednesday here at BTC? Yay. Okay. So let us also remember where we are elevating, that we are on the unceded lands of the Lekwungen peoples, the Songhees and Esquimalt nations. And I was doing some scouring on the internet this time, again this month, and if we look at what the Esquimalt nation has to say on their site, then they talk about stewardship, ceremony, and sacred trust. And that they are learning to live in a finely balanced relationship with the seasons, the lands, the tides, and the seasons of life that have sustained them for thousands upon thousands of years. And so there is a strong connection, there is a reverence, there is a sacred trust there between people and land and ancestors and spirit, all of it coming from the same place, this one divine energetic flow. And so we are here now, and we get to live and breathe and work and play and co-create on these beautifully revered lands that have been stewarded for so long. What an honor and a privilege, what a gift and what a blessing it is to be able to do so. Haishka. All right, and so now a bit more music from the Elevate Trio with Pablo and Peter and Kelby as he's coming back to the drums. And for those who are new here, we're going to move into an opening blessing / prayer right away. So if you want to express your appreciation to the band, just do it quietly with your hands, and then after the prayer, we can clap it out, okay? Feeling this energy, creativity, connection, beauty, and love that is the very atmosphere that we breathe, that is the very activation of the cells in our beings. What an absolute blessing it is to be here now on the receiving end of such joy, of such beauty, of such love. And so as I feel this aliveness in every single fiber of my being, noticing that every single aspect of me is being further activated and opened and enlivened, I'm so grateful to know that that incredible, amazing musicality, all the melodies, the harmony, all the playfulness just experienced, is part and parcel of this one incredible, amazing, dynamic, energetic flow that is the very essence, that is the very beingness of everyone and everything. And so knowing that we are gathered here today to remember more fully who we are, to connect with ourselves and each other more authentically, more lovingly, more intentionally. I'm so grateful for every opportunity there is to be reminded of how beautiful, how graceful, how powerful and melodic each and every one of us is. And so in gratitude for this reminder, in gratitude for this activation and magic that is happening right here, right now, I simply allow myself to lean in, knowing that there is that in each and every individual present, everyone who is tuning in online, and everyone everywhere that has it in them to open up to a greater, more beautiful, more powerful expression of who and what they already are. And so as we continue to be activated and open and expanded, I'm so grateful for every single moment, the now moment that is here and all the now moments to come, knowing that each and every one of them unfolds with creativity and joy and curiosity and love. So for everything that is present, for everything that is on its way, during this month of Illuminate, I'm so grateful for every single now moment, for every single breath, to open up to the wisdom, the beauty, and the harmony of my soul, of the soul of this community, of the soul of the world. So in gratitude and joy and celebration, I release my word as law, knowing our time together right here, right now, is wisdom, beauty, and harmony unfolding. So I release, I let go, and I bask in the love and the joy and the presence of life's dynamic flow. And so it is. So I invite you to open your eyes, receive a big, deep, cleansing breath in, breathe it all out, and then if you would like to express your appreciation to the band, please. That was super special, guys. So Pablo, what was it?
A song called Emily by Bill Evans.
Bill Evans?
Bill Evans.
Bill Evans.
Bill Evans, okay. Bill Evans, okay, yeah, all right. And it was your arrangement. Yeah. Beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you very, very much. Okay, so transitioning into our theme for the month, which is Illuminate. And because it's the first Wednesday of the month, I'm going to ask someone from the audience named Stephanie to come on up and talk a little bit about Illuminate and our affirmation for the month.
Thank you.
All right, come on over, have a seat.
Hi, everyone. Lesia just asked me to do this about 10 minutes ago. I said, sure, why not?
Yep, you always have something going on. You're always intuiting something, always opening up. So Illuminate. What's that feeling like? What's that looking like for you right now in this moment?
That all the areas of life that don't have light, that experience of like there's either it can't be seen, darkness is a bit heavy, but can't be seen, that there's an opportunity for there to be light, to see something new that I can't see yet.
And so is there something in your life that you're thinking of in particular, or an experience that you've had recently?
Well, I have been in a conversation for the last, I'm going to say 7 months, with my biological mother, who I've never met, and just found her. And she is dealing with her own process of coming to terms with what it's like to have a conversation with someone that she gave up for adoption many years ago. And so this is like the perfect word for this month. Because as I create space for her process, it's actually like the experience of illuminating the world around her so that she can discover something and have freedom from whatever experiences, that, you know, any emotions that she's had, or shame, or that gets to be lifted from her. Pretty wild.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just one thing. There's many others.
Wow, that's a big one. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Yeah, there's a little bit in my talk that I think is going to maybe resonate with you a little bit, you know, on that similar path. And yeah, I really appreciate you sort of mentioning how where there is darkness or shadow, or, I mean, you said darkness heavy, but where there's absence of light, there's the opportunity to be illuminated, and then, you know, notice what is there, to lean in a little bit.
Yeah. It's
Thank
very
you.
peaceful, which is kind of bizarre when I think about it. How can I have peacefulness in this? But actually, I'm really at peace with, like, this is just perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks for letting me share.
Right on. Thank you. All right, let's give Stephanie a hand. Here. Here, give me a hug. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. I always love hugs.
Take a hug any day.
Thank you. All right. Okay, well, that means it's time for some more music with the Elevate Trio. So what are we listening to now, Kelby?
Well, funny you should ask. So those of you who are new don't know this, but one of the funnest things about this opportunity we have is to think about music with a monthly theme. And it's fascinating to get to think through songs, and sometimes you search and you don't find anything, and sometimes you find these nuggets that you knew about but blow your mind, and there's a few more of those coming throughout the month, which is exciting. But this one came to me just I guess a day ago. I guess it was yesterday morning, and I was thinking about a recent experience where I was trying to be better, trying to be more open, trying to see things differently. And I realized that I'd been thinking already about this theme, illuminate. And so I recognize that part of that process is through experience. So sometimes you have to have faith and step out, and sometimes you realize that you never cared much for moonlit skies or never winked back at fireflies. But now that the stars are in your eyes, for example, I'm beginning to see the light. So that's the tune. It's an old tune, 1944, from Duke Ellington and Harry James, called I'm Beginning to See the Light. Maybe last 8. A 1, a 2. Well, I never met much from moonlit skies. I never winked back at fireflies. But now that the stars are in your eyes, I'm beginning to see the light. Well, I never went in for afterglow or candlelight on the mistletoe. But now that you turn the lights down low, I'm beginning to see the light. Used to ramble through the park, shadow boxing in the dark. Then you came and caused a spark that's a 4-alarm fire now. Well, I never made love by lantern shine. I never saw rainbows in my wine. But now that your lips are burning mine, I'm beginning to see the light. Never thought much on moonlit skies. I never winked back at fireflies. But now that the stars are in your eyes, I'm beginning to see the light. Well, I never used to wander through the park, shadow boxing in the dark. Then you came and caused a spark that's a fall on fire now. Well, I never made love by lantern shine, never saw rainbows in my wine. But now that your lips are burning mine, I'm beginning to see the light. I'm beginning to see the light. I'm beginning to see the light. Yeah.
Woo! The Elevate Trio, Pablo Cardenas on piano, Peter Dowse on electric bass, and Kelby MacNayr vocals and drums. Fantastic, thank you. Yeah, and I gotta say, I'm kind of excited because there's a Duke Ellington thing that I want to tie in. I'm gonna see if I can do it. All right, so some of you may know that this past weekend I went to Edmonton for a family funeral. And I arranged my flight plans so that I could be back here for Celebrate Sunday on Sunday morning. Well, that's not what happened. So on the way there, everything was fine. It turns out that well, now it's balmy in Edmonton the way it is here, but when I was there, it was minus 20 and like major snowstorms, which was actually kind of cool because since we've moved here from Toronto 8 years ago, there has been a storm or 2 or 3 every single year, right? Even though the brochure said it never snowed here. But it wasn't quite like it was in Edmonton. Like it was cold, it was snowy, there was like snow and dirty snow everywhere. It was quite something. Even with that snowstorm, the plane that I took from Edmonton to Vancouver on Saturday afternoon, no problem. The tiny plane from Vancouver to Victoria, problem. So, I took the plane from Edmonton to Vancouver, and I was actually kind of looking forward to the 4-hour layover I had there, because when we flew to Toronto in June, Glenn and I ended up being kind of stranded at the Vancouver airport after a flight was canceled, and so we walked that airport, every single square inch of it. We got to know it really, really well, and there was this one amazing place where we ate that I thought, ooh, that's where I'm going to get dinner from. So I got my dinner, I had it, it was super delicious, I felt really nourished and fortified, and I headed over to the gate where my flight was supposed to take off for Victoria. And it was like, 3 hours before, so there was nobody there. So I found myself a great spot, plugged in my laptop, was charging my phone, my earbuds and everything, and then I sat down to do some work. Well, eventually, after about an hour and a half, more people started coming, it started getting noisy, and then I realized that there was a guy who was sitting next to me who was playing something on his laptop without headphones, and so everybody could hear what he was playing. And even though I was really focusing on what it was that I was working on, my attention kept veering off to what he was listening to. So I thought, okay, I'll just pop in my earbuds and I'll put on our meditation music from Elevate and Celebrate, right? So I did that, and in the background I could kind of hear whatever he was doing, but I was just in the zone and working. And then I looked at the clock and I thought, oh, it's almost time for us to start boarding. And then as I looked, I realized, oh, I actually have to be at another gate. So I have to be at another gate in a few minutes because that plane is going to take off. So I packed everything up and I walked all the way across to the other end of the airport. Found out the reason that we had to go to another gate was because there were mechanical issues with the plane we were supposed to take, and they couldn't fix them. So we had to take a different plane entirely. So walked all the way to the other side, and it was one of these, you have to go outside, because it's a prop plane. go and sit down, and I have a window seat, which I was really excited about, and I look to the right, and there's the propeller there. And I just have this fleeting thought. I wonder what would happen if that didn't work. Okay, that's it. Then I pop in my earbuds, I'm listening to Game of Thrones, and we take off, and we're flying, and I'm kind of dozing at the same time because it's quite late at night. And then all of a sudden, I can hear and sense that people on the plane are murmuring and things are happening. And so I pull out one earbud, and I can hear the captain saying, we apologize, but one of the engines has gone. I look, and I'm like, oh, sure enough, it's not working. The right engine has gone. We are trained to fly with one engine, so please don't worry, but we have to turn back and go to Vancouver. We can see the lights of Victoria, and people are like, but it's right there, and it's like, sorry, we got to go back. So we turn back around, and we're going back around, and then we end up in this fog. And even though the pilot ends up saying, and now we begin our descent into Vancouver, there's nothing, just fog. And I'm looking out the window at all of this fog, and the engine's not working, and the lady behind me goes, this is really disconcerting, isn't it? And I just turned to her and I said, you know what, I don't really know what's happening. I'm just going to keep listening to my book. But what it was for me, everybody was pretty calm. They were frustrated that we didn't land in Victoria, and it was so close, but we had to turn back to Vancouver. But for me, this was one of those moments where you really had to trust. The pilots who were sitting in the cockpit, they couldn't see anything, so they had to trust their navigation, their guidance system, right? We have a guidance and navigation system within us that sometimes we really need to trust because we can't go by what is happening around us, right? So this was one of those oh, this is such a great illustration. This is such a new thought, teachable moment, right? So, fine. We end up landing, and we land, and they say, okay, it's going to take about 15 minutes to fix it, and then we're going to be on our way back to Victoria. Well, that doesn't happen, and then they get everybody off the plane. We have to walk all the way back to the other end. No, sorry. First, we end up in the, they say stay in the boarding lounge because we're going to get another plane, and then you guys are going to be on your way to Victoria. So by now, people are getting cranky, and they're tired because it's late at night. Our flight was delayed already. We ended up turning around, and then half an hour, an hour and a half. They start coming around, does anybody want any water? And people are like, oh, thank you. They're being so gracious, as gracious as they possibly can. And then at that time, I also thought, well, my devices are starting to run out. I better charge my phone and my earbuds. But people were sitting by the charging station. And so I thought, I'll keep my phone, but I'll plug in my earbuds. Don't forget my earbuds. Okay? So there's stuff going on. I call Glenn to let him know that this is happening. And then all of a sudden, as water's being poured and people are feeling cranky, and I'm on the phone with Glenn, all of a sudden the crew walks out in their coats with their bags, and that's it. And then they tell us, sorry, the flight has been grounded, which means canceled. We're going to give you hotel vouchers, and we're going to book you on other flights tomorrow. And I'm thinking, I'm supposed to be in Victoria tomorrow morning for Celebrate Sunday. Don't forget your earbuds. And so they're making sure everybody stays until they get their hotel vouchers, so they know where they're supposed to go, they know where our baggage is going to be coming. And so don't forget your earbuds is what I'm focusing on. And then eventually they're like, okay, go. And then it's a mad scramble for everybody to get their hotel vouchers because apparently there aren't enough for everyone. So go to get the bags to go to the hotel voucher, or to go to the hotel. I get to the hotel, I set my stuff down, and by now it's about 2 a.m, and I'm thinking, I'm on a flight at 10:15 tomorrow night. I'm not getting to Celebrate. I have to focus. There's all this stuff going on, but right now I need to focus on making sure that Celebrate can happen without me. So that means I got to start emailing people, I got to start texting people, and I don't want to wake anybody out of a sound sleep, so I'm going to send all these messages and let people know this is what's happening. Glenn's the only one in the know so far. And then at 7 a.m, I'm going to get up and I'm going to start calling people and asking, can you do this, can you do this, can you do this, right? But I better charge my stuff first, right? Plug it in and make sure that I have power and everything during the night. I forgot my earbuds. Forgot my earbuds with my phone charger because that's what I was using. But I had my laptop, and so at least I had that. So, wow, what was I focusing on? You know, first I'm like, I wonder what would happen if. Well, I got to find out. And then don't forget your earbuds. Forgot the earbuds, and now I get to find out what happens when I don't have a phone charger and I need to be calling people and getting a hold of people and organizing things. So this was another one of those, now it's time to trust. Now it's time to turn within, to be still and know, to move past all of the things that are happening around me and just focus on what I know, on who I am, and trust that everything is unfolding perfectly. And so what this meant for me, and it took a few days to like get out of the being in the middle of it all to sort of pull back and see, this is really kind of neat. And it reminded me of a workshop that I was in with my friend and fellow ministerial grad, Rick Tamlin, who is an awesome coach and does such amazing workshops. And what he did in one workshop was he said, okay, everybody, pull out a piece of paper, take a marker, and just start making dots. Just start putting dots all over the piece of paper. He gave us like 30 seconds, like, okay, that's enough. All those dots is what we know. All those dots would fit on the head of a teaspoon. What we don't know, the infinite possibilities that we haven't yet experienced that are available to us every moment of every day, that's all the space in between. And so that is the title of my talk today. The space in between. How often do we get so caught up about all of these things that fit on the head of a teaspoon, all of the relative or the conventional, all of the stuff? This is what we try to create our life from. But there's all of this. And all of this, in addition to what this is, all of that is who and what we are. And so going back to flying in the fog and just trusting the guidance system, going back to the hotel and, this is what's happening, so I better just focus on what it is I can control, what it is I can do, because Celebrate Sunday has to happen tomorrow with or without me. And so this space in between also reminded me of a jazz musician, a jazz drummer that Glenn and I got a chance to see many years ago while we were still in Toronto, pre-Milana time, so this is well over 20 years ago. His name is Idris Muhammad, and Peter's nodding his head. And so he was an amazing drummer and band leader, and he was known for embracing the space in between the notes. And at the time when I heard this, I thought this was such a cool concept, because what it told me was that it's not the notes, it's not the beat necessarily that is what we feel, it's what happens in between. It's the relationship from one to the other. And if we focus on that more, then wow, life can feel and look really different. And so what this also reminded me of, which was so cool when Kelby said, I think we're going to play a Duke Ellington song tonight, is when I used to volunteer at Jazz 91.1 FM in Toronto, which is the 24-hour jazz station. And someone, I can't remember who it was, one time said that Duke Ellington was reported as saying that clapping or snapping on the ones and threes is aggressive. And I thought this was the most hilarious thing, because it meant you got to clap on the twos and fours, right? And so I actually found a series of 3 videos that were put together, and it's on YouTube. And so Duke Ellington is in there when he's in front of an audience and he's snapping, and he's just like super casually cool saying, you know, that it's not on the ones and the threes, but you got to go down. So you're on the 2 and the 4 and the 2 and the 4. And if you want to look a little bit cooler when you're doing that, then, and I don't know if I can do the coordinating, you got to like cock your head a little to the left at the same time and drop the ear as you're, you know, there it is, right there. Yeah, right? And then there was another little video, and oh my gosh, am I going to remember her name? Dawn Hampton? Is that a cabaret singer? Okay, yes, okay. So she had a little blurb on there about how clapping on the ones and threes sounds corny. And she said, we got to get you folks out of the corn patch and into the street. Because when you clap on the twos and fours, then You're in the street, feeling the rhythm in between, instead of feeling the rhythm. It hurt, to do what she was doing. So I just thought this was really neat that you brought in a Duke Ellington song, because I thought that was such a funny thing. But it talks to the space in between and not focusing on the obvious or the thing that's right in front of you, but opening up to those possibilities that are in between that make life so much more interesting. And so that's what the whole weekend for me ended up being, because I ended up coordinating 5 people to come in on Saturday, Kelby included, very last minute, to fill in so that Celebrate Sunday could go off without a hitch. So what an amazing adventure, and what an opportunity to really lean into all the spaces in between rather than focusing on what would normally just fit on the head of a teaspoon. So as we realize that we are so much more vast and capable than what we've been focusing on until now, the space in between provides context for how we navigate what we choose to know, feel, and experience, the stuff that fits on the head of a teaspoon, going forward. And so it's not so much about focusing on the stuff that's on the teaspoon, or focusing on the fact that there's fog outside the window and we're landing but we don't know where the ground is, or that I've forgotten my earbuds and my charger at the airport, because there's always, always, always this internal guidance system, the information that is available in the spaces in between that is always, always present for us to lean into. So my question to you is, if all we know, all we're familiar with, really fits onto the head of a teaspoon, and then there's all of this that is available to us, what is it that you're going to focus on from now on? Because I guarantee you, if you start to shift your focus, even from time to time, and focus on all of this, how you experience this is going to change. Thank you, and so it is. All right, so now we're going to move into some conscious conversation. You guys can break into your groups of 4. Just pick up your chairs and move around. And we'll do that for about 10 minutes, and then I will ding the meditation bowl when it's time to come back. Okay? Thank you. All right, everyone. Thank you for your amazing engagement. Come on back. Speaking. Yeah, okay, fantastic. All right, so the rest of us, let's love and appreciate these folks up. So we're going to tell them these things. We appreciate you. We love you. We open up to the space in between with you. All right, stay standing. Now, everyone who's here for the first time, how about you stand up? Oh, let's show some love and appreciation for these people now. We appreciate you. We love you. We open up to the space in between with you. And now everybody, here we go, like we mean it. We love you. We appreciate you. We open up to the space in between with you. And now find one person. Look them in the eye, and you're going to tell them I, okay? You got your person? Find your person. I appreciate you. I love you. I open up to the space in between with you. All right, thank you very much. And if you want to hug it out, feel free. And then come on back. And so now is the opportunity to check in. How are you feeling? How are you doing as compared to when you walked in here today? Are you feeling uplifted? Are you feeling more connected? Are you feeling like you're being illuminated in some way? Yes, okay. So now is an opportunity to invest in that illumination, in that connection, in that upliftment. This is an opportunity to share your generosity of spirit. So if you would like to offer something to continue being uplifted and continue connecting and all of that good stuff that's happening here, there's a silver bowl on the back table there. There are either some sheets or some envelopes so that you can write your name and your address and all this information depending on how it is that you want to give via e-transfer, credit card, cash, or even there's an online donation button. But these sheets are really important because they let our treasurer know who it is that is being so generous, okay? What's that? Where? Oh, there is. Thank you, Victoria Truth Center. Okay, thank you. I will fix that. All right, however it is that you are being generous with your spirit and your love, I invite you to place your hands on your heart as we declare this abundance affirmation together with enthusiasm. Here we go. In gratitude I give, in gratitude I receive. By embracing generosity with enthusiasm and delight, I celebrate the infinite possibilities of living life lovingly, and so it is. And so let us continue to be immersed in the gratitude that is appreciating right here, right now, knowing that there is always more. Our theme for the year, there is always more in 2024, and that continues into the next year, decade, and so on. So for all the love that is present, for everything that is being illuminated as we open up to the infinite possibilities of who we are and who we can become, I'm so grateful for everything that each individual present, everything that this community is opening up to and leaning into. So for all that is here, for all that is on its way, I simply say thank you, knowing that every single thing that is given, every single penny, every single second, every single bit of spirit goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. So for all that is on its way, I simply say thank you, thank you, thank you, as we celebrate by saying, and so it is. All right, announcements. It is the beginning of the month, so there are a few. There is more information about events on the wall over there, on the door, and community events in the foyer. But two big things, Friendship Sunday happening this Sunday. It's the last Friendship Sunday of the year. So if you are coming on Sunday, then this is the Sunday to come because there is a potluck afterwards. And it's an amazing opportunity to break bread, share stories, and hear some extra amazing music as Kelby joins us along with a mystery bass player. Joey Smith is returning. Fantastic. The King of Swing. Awesome. So Sunday, December 8th, Friendship Sunday, starting at 10:30 with meditation, and then potluck lunch at 12 p.m. Sacred Soundscapes, a super amazing event that is happening on solstice. Saturday, December 21st, there is a poster on the wall, on the door, and out in the hallway. There is a QR code on the posters, on the door, on the wall, and in the hallway. We already have 11 tickets sold. I think we're going to aim for about 40 to 50 people in here. We'll have mostly in the seats, but there will be a squish zone here in the front. This is about bringing in breathwork, vocalization, Aramaic Jesus chanting, and just celebrating the darkest day of the year and how we can illuminate from within. So please join us. Alex King-Harris, Naomi Jason, and myself, we're going to be facilitating. It's going to be epic. Okay, the very last offering that we are having at VTC this year is on Sunday, December 22nd. It's a special candle lighting and Taizé service, which is such a beautiful, sacred ritual, I guess. And it's basically music, meditation, inspiration, again and again and again and again as we light a candle for every sort of aspect that we are celebrating. It's such a beautiful, beautiful, peaceful time, an opportunity to connect. Okay. We are also, with all the new people who are coming in, we are inviting people to consider, if you feel like VTC is bringing value to your life, if you feel like this might be your spiritual home and you want to get more involved and you want to commit yourself a little bit more, then consider becoming a member. It doesn't cost anything, and one super important thing that you get to do when you are a member is vote. And our annual general meeting is coming up in either March or April, and there are a lot of new things that are going to be voted on. And so if you want to have a say in how this community is evolving and growing, then I invite you to consider becoming a member. You can ask me about it. There are some forms on the back table, and I'll leave it at that for now. If you or someone you know is in need of prayer, then there are some forms on the back table in front of the little butterfly box. Just fill one form out, put it in the box, and our VTC prayer team will pray for you and yours affirmatively. If you aren't already on the mailing list, I think almost everybody here is, but if you're not, then the sign-up sheet is over there. Best way to know what is happening and when at VTC. This is the lineup of December events. I'm not going to go through them all, but there's a ton. One thing that's coming up on Monday the 9th is stocking stuffing for Extreme Outreach. There's a sign-up sheet on the back table there if you want to participate. We're actually doing it at Extreme Outreach. It's in the afternoon. I think it's something like 4 to 5:30 or 4 to 6 or something like that. But feel free to sign up. The more, the merrier. And community announcements. Is there anything that anyone would like to share about themselves that they are offering, that they are participating in, that you'd like to share with the community? Leslie.
Last week I ended up being led to talk about my true power. That was actually the name of the book that myself and 13 other women wrote. So they had just arrived that week. So I brought a few. So
Yay!
Leslie said, you said bring a few.
Yeah.
I have a few here if you would. You can also get them online.
Okay.
They're cheaper online because these are special edition ones that I had to buy and pay for.
Well, special edition is more special.
Get a special edition.
And maybe a signed one.
Pardon me?
An assigned one. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Thank you. All right. Anyone else? Then I'm going to invite you to stand on up as we sing our last song of the evening. This Little Light of Mine.
All right. Now, all that talk about 2 and 4, I've never heard of that idea about 1 and 3 being aggressive, but I like it. I think it's interesting. I think it allows us, when we clap on 2 and 4, it allows us to feel 1 and 3. We often talk about that as like the mama-papa beats, and then these are the baby beats. So in order to have the baby, well, in order to feel those 2 and 4, you got to put your feet down. I don't know if that's E flat. Is that E flat? No. Is that you mean E flat? Yeah. Okay, everybody. Ooh, that's nice. Can we get a little 2 and 4 action out there? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Woo! Now, it's okay to be aggressive with your feet. That's your foundation. It's your bass drum. Here we go. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All right. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Woo.
All right, everyone. Bless your neighbor for the week.
I'm gonna let it shine. Spirit gave to me. I'm gonna let it shine. Spirit gave it to me. I'm gonna let it shine. 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 One more time. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
The Elevate Trio, Pablo Cardenas, Peter Dowse, and Kelby MacNayr, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for being here in person, online, however you join us. We love you. We appreciate you. We're so glad you're here. We'll see you next week.
I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine.